Hi, my name is Carly, Miss Carly to my students here at Studio 147. I am a dance teacher, a studio owner, and a mother of 3 little girls. The Evergreen Dance Company statement is important to me because I have called myself a Christian ever since I was, 8 years old, but I never really knew what it meant to have a deep personal relationship with Christ. I went through all the Bible schools, memorizing Bible verses, but I don't think it was until I became an adult with children that I really knew what it meant to have a deep personal relationship with Christ and how to communicate with Christ. And I believe that we can show Christ's love through our dancing and can reach more people through that outlet that we have been provided. I like to use my studio to show God's love to my students, just really pour into them my love, and hopefully that they can see God's love through that and be able to pass that down for generations is a really cool opportunity that I have through my studio and through my students and through my daughters as well. For myself to be on stage and for some of my students to come and see that, and that I also have the outlet to be able to get up on stage and tell stories through dance and stories of the Bible through dance, I think will really inspire the next generation to do the same. I attended your most recent show, 12 and Encore, and first and foremost, I very much enjoyed the music, the choreography, and the formation changes. I thought those were just absolutely on point and very interesting, and it really captivated me to watch your show. Obviously, I have a passion for dance. I have a passion for God and just constantly trying to be a better Christian, but also giving myself grace, and that God gives us grace as well, to make mistakes and to learn and to be better always. The show was really important to me to see all the women just like me up on that stage, and I know that they all have a story and they all have a background the same as I do, and that's why they're up there, is to show God's love and forgiveness. And that's really the big motivator and push to do this for me. And just watching all of those women up on stage is just so inspiring. And I just really hope to do the same thing, along with a lot of my beliefs that go along with the beliefs of the Evergreen Dance Company, as far as women being important to tell God's story as well. The biggest thing I'm excited for, besides performing, learning more through dance, is the fellowship with other women and our sisters in Christ, and being able to have those conversations with new friends that I make throughout the season, and being able to share our stories and relate to one another, and just pushing each other in our faith and in our dance, and growing in every way possible. I desire all that in my life and would love to just be a part of that community. So like I said, I've been a Christian, called myself a Christian since I was 8 years old. But it wasn't until recent events in my life that I really knew what it meant to completely depend on God. I went through quite a traumatic event about a year ago, and I would say that I was at a lowest point in my life. My body started reacting to the stress, the depression that event kind of put me through. And I was at a point about a year ago that I was not able to walk. My body was just in so much pain. My back, my hips, my knees, all of my joints, my body just kind of shut down. And being a dance teacher and a mom, and not being able to get up and down off the floor, or barely get out of bed, or be able to put on clothes myself, was incredibly heartbreaking. Not only to have this event that happened in my life, but the reaction that my body went through because of the stress of that just was incredibly heartbreaking. I sat face to face with my doctor, and she looked at me in my face with tears in her eyes and said, "I don't know how to tell you this, but it's very possible by 50 years old that you will be in a wheelchair." I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition that affects joints in my body and causes extreme inflammation and extreme pain, and kind of just starts degenerating the joints and bones, and affects all of the muscles, affects all of my organs in my body. So to hear that news, you can imagine my life is about movement, and to not be able to teach my students, I was just at a complete low in my life, and I was ready to just get up and sell my studio. I didn't know what to do next. And even after all of that news and everything that had just kind of put me into an extreme depression in my life, I still just completely relied on God. I knew that the one thing that I still had in my life was my faith. Of course, all the things that had happened really had me questioning God and questioning my faith, but I knew that the only thing that could pull me out of that low in my life was God. And so through tears on my knees, screaming, crying out to God, I continued to pray. I continued to remain faithful. It was hard. It was very hard. And I made a big, drastic change in my life. And the day that I made that decision to make that change, I was completely pain-free. It was gone. I came to class to teach my students, and I danced, and I went full out. And I hadn't done that in probably 3 or 4 years. My body was kind of telling me, no, I couldn't do that. But that day, I danced for Jesus because I knew that was the only reason that I was able to move again. And I went home and cried that night. And I knew that I was going to be very sore the next morning because I hadn't done anything like that in a long time. And my muscles weren't used to it. It felt so amazing to be able to move again. Since that day, I have had zero pain. I went back to the doctor to get new scans on my back and my knees and my hip, and the doctor looked at me and shook her head and said, I have never seen this, but it looks completely normal. There's no more inflammation. The arthritis that was completely plaguing your back is gone. Basically, you're in remission now from your autoimmune disease. Since that day, I'm able to move, I'm able to teach, I'm able to be the mom and the parent that I always wanted to. I don't feel lazy, like I can't move, I can't get up, I can't attend to these students or my daughters. I feel like a completely new person, and that's all because of God. And I think that's really what I want to teach my students and my daughters throughout this audition process and through hopefully being a member of the Evergreen Dance Company, is that no matter how old you are or how broken you are or what you've been through, God can still pull you out, and God can still help you achieve your dreams. Dancing again, especially on a stage with women who also have the same beliefs and maybe have been through similar things as me, is just so inspiring. And I want to inspire my students that have been with me through all of this, who have watched me sit and teach their classes and now can dance on a stage in front of a crowd and just show the love of God through movement. I think would just be really inspiring to those students that have been with me through these low points in my life, whether they know what's going on or not. They can see me just kind of develop into this new person and go from a depression state to this new God built me up, and I'm able to do things that I never thought I was going to be able to do again. And 100% that was because of my faith in God, and because he knew that there was a purpose for my life, and he brought me out of my depression, of my inability to do what I loved anymore, and now I can 100% say that I can dance for Jesus. And I really, really appreciate getting this opportunity to audition for you. So thank you.